As many of you I'm sure are aware that have paid attention to my past coverage in regards to music, you would know that I've spent a lot of time engaging with covers from a wide variety of groups and artists. There's quite a mixture in the approach that artists take. In whatever I've covered on this channel, I've found that the covers to be quite competent and faithful and are effective pieces of homage to their original inspirational tunes. But there's quite a broad range of what artists employ in specific elements to perhaps keep the song. Maybe there won't be much employment. Maybe it'll be a translation, though, from a different vocal emphasis, but very similar writing and key choices. Maybe there'll be deviations, right? Some people might modify the key. They might change the energy, the genre approach, the vocal styling. It might better fit to a certain subgenre of another music scene that perhaps is a dramatic departure from the original tune. I find in the litany of covers that I, again, have consulted publicly, SIRENIA's really stands out. I'm, of course, basing my understanding of this on the original first one, at least from my impression with them, and experiences from Riddles, Ruins, and Revelations, their second to last album, that being Voyage, Voyage, based on the French pop song by Desireless. It was exquisite. And as I said, of Desireless, the original piece, very much fits into the American pop scene of the 80s, 90s, kind of the earlier music period of where music, for me, though I'm not a big pop guy, that scene is, I think historic in reverence of many people, including myself. And I know it's, again, a French release, but it feels so American. Like it would fit well in here, even though, again, I couldn't understand a single word. I studied Spanish as a second language, not French. So I wasn't able to follow the song perhaps in lyrical vision, but I could understand the Voyage, Voyage part. But I could certainly understand the tone of what it echoed for me. And again, like I said, that's like a classic American 80s pop song. SIRENIA's adaptation, I knew it was going to be a bit of a deviation, because again, SIRENIA is symphonic metal, right? The level to what they achieved, though, with that song, in specific echoing of the original work, not just in keeping it faithful to the way Desireless originally imagined the piece, but in mimicking this feeling of it. I truly believe it was based on those specific, to me, synth integrations. It was a throwback piece. It took me right back into the 80s scene, even though I was born in 97, so I couldn't have been around in the 80s, but looking back in retrospect, it's like I had a train ride there in just, I forget how long the song was. Not that long, of course, about 4 minutes or so. But it was a fun ride back in music history, in my opinion. So I'm really curious to engage with SIRENIA's capabilities in the cover scene going forward, and we're going to have another opportunity off their newest album debut, which now I'm catching up, finally. I know I'm behind on everything, but, I come to some of these groups that I cover late. Many of you know that music for me has been a recent integration on this channel to the level that I've put it at now, although it's funny, I started this channel on Ever Entertainment Ventures, I'm sure many of you know who followed my work, and I'm still exposed to those scenes, and yet I spend so much more time in the music scene. It's just, for me, music is a favorite art form, and it is my favorite of the artistic languages. And I just love being able to entertain it, especially when it comes to European metal. Many of you know how addicted I am to that scene. But we have talent, in many different countries worldwide. Europe is a hodgepodge in every country in that area. And SIRENIA is no different. I have been so impressed with their works thus far, consulting 3 tracks off of Arcane Astral Aeons and 4 off of Riddles, Ruins, Revelations. And now we have the newest album unveiling itself presently, 1977. So as I said, I'm caught up. I'm sure there'll be more debuts as we near the eventual release date. But we have another cover as the first track debut from them, this being Twist in My Sobriety. And as I said, this is based on British singer-songwriter Tanita Tikaram. Is it Tikaram or Tikaram? I don't know. Apologies, I'm massacring, I'm sure, a famous artist's name. But we have another 80s tune here, that being Twist in My Sobriety. This is hers. And I did go back and listen to the original piece. It's very pop. And it's a little slower. Not slower, but it's got like a nice soothing rhythm to it. It's more like a pop ballad. So I'm really curious to hear SIRENIA's adaptation. I'm imagining, again, with what they employed with Voyage, Voyage, this is definitely going to take on more of a symphonic metal presence. But I'm sure it's going to be just as faithful. But still, in its own way, original. I'm really curious to hear more, though. Let's go ahead and engage. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the music video that accompanied said piece. And if you're not familiarized to how I normally format my coverage on this channel, we'll be getting the tune and the video in a minute. But if you'd like to read along with the lyrics of the piece, I will provide those in the video for you, and they'll track along with the song as we go through it. I have not looked at the lyrics in detail, so we're getting a first exposure together. Listen to my sobriety. I'm really curious to hear the adaptation here. But if it's anything like the capabilities of Voyage, I'm sure it'll be good. Yeah, much more emphasized. A little more forceful with the echoes. I like that. I'm part of the choir. Good metal drive. Emmanuel sounds a lot like Tikara.
Now your conscience is clear. In the morning when I wipe my brow,
yeah, good emphasis.
the miles away, I like to think I can be so healed and never do what you say. I'll never hear you.
SIRENIA really is such a stellar talent, in my opinion. Always a grand experience from them. Oh, soothing snare, I love that. This would be a fun one to see live. And maybe hope one day maybe I will. We'll see. I've got so many artists from Europe I'd love to see live. I just haven't had the opportunity yet. Maybe sometime. But that background riff and symphonic employment, I would just love to see this performed on a grand stage. It would carry well nicely, I feel, in the atmosphere of the amphitheater or wherever it would be played. Nice percussion work there. More like an echo effect in the choir integration, higher snare. It just adds so much.
Read the papers, read them good and well. Pretty people, nervous people, people have got to sell. News you have to sell.
I bet it's a photo. Morton posted that, I remember. Good outro effect too. Again, sums up this presentation quite well. Second cover thus far, just as exquisite as the last one. And I'm eager to hear more. I mean, again, like I said, I expected a high presentation coming off of Voyage. Again, if we're going to have a second attempt at this, and that was great. I love, by the way, the live performance vibe. Again, it's so approachable. I love being able to cover artists like that. You know, I didn't always, in the past. I think back to maybe my earlier years in evolution, and for me, evolution, right? That's the wrong word. My early years and experience of music, and for me, I didn't listen as much to live tunes as much as I did studio replays, right, from the official album releases. So being able to see the band, express such a passion amidst, just watching them, perform for the camera, right? No expensive production, just standing there, I'm assuming like in front of a black curtain or something, and just echoing the original tune. Again, let me get the name right here from Tanita Tikaram. Exquisite adaptation. Definitely, like I said, echoes the original piece. They don't tend to deviate, at least in sound. Again, it's a very faithful adaptation and homage, right? They maintain the same key, same timing as well, but they have this grander presentation where they take all the SIRENIA elements, right? The choir, the symphonic side, and with the metal backing, and they blend it quite well to the piece and provide a very faithful adaptation. It was a fun experience to listen to this piece. Again, like I said, I expected a strong cover experience coming from Voyage, and this is very different, but again, echoes that pop energy that kind of, it does put it in that time period, reflecting on it, like the original release, though the original release is much softer than this, and again, this one, by comparison to other SIRENIA tracks, is a little more reduced in prominence, in volume. It's not bad at all. I think it's just as exemplary as a piece. It's very entertaining to engage with. I'm curious, though, to hear more, admittedly, going forward, original tunes off of 1977, because we haven't heard any of those yet. I'm assuming all the rest are original pieces. So we have that's an interesting release pattern, right? Rather than going for like an original, they start with the cover first. Maybe it's just coming off of Voyage. I mean, again, I'm covering, in respect, because I just finished covering Riddles, Ruins, and Revelations. I approached that after its main release date, so I'm probably way behind that one. What was the order though of the tracks released in terms of the visualizers? Like, was Voyage the last one, or was it like one of the first? Maybe they're following a pattern here that Voyage set. I don't know. Anyway, it's a good piece all the same. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it down below if you wish to disclose your perspective. Like I said, for me, it's exquisite. But maybe some of you, have a different approach. Maybe some of you feel the same. Whatever perspective you have and whatever angle you come from, whether you're a longtime SIRENIA fan or perhaps an establishing one now, like me. I'm still relatively young, but in regards to my following of them, but 8 tracks in, I'm having a great time. And I'd love to hear your thoughts down below if you do wish to disclose your perspective. Again, I've had a wonderful time with SIRENIA in every experience I've had with them publicly on this channel. I'm going to go back and listen to some of their works from other releases for myself. I figured I'd give you a good selection of coverage from them, as I now am in time of their newest release. So next track that comes out will be all caught up, hopefully, unless I'm behind on publishing everything. I'll try to have everything out on time. Although it's my catchphrase, I am behind on everything. I'm always in a catchphrase. Man, it's fun though with SIRENIA, so even if I'm a bit behind in getting everything up, I hope I'm not. I've had a wonderful experience thus far in engaging with their talents. Again, big symphonic metal guy over here, and in my opinion, every member of this group has not disappointed in any way. And that applies to their covers as well, and as they're paying homage to the original artists. That wasn't that bad of a tune at all. Stellar cover, as always. As I said many times, there's not been a track on this cover from a music artist that I've not liked, and SIRENIA is no exception to that, and nor is Twist in My Sobriety. It's really good, actually. I think it's a very strong cover, and again, a beautiful homage to, admittedly, I just forgot her name again. Tanita Tikaram's work, and again, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing her last name, but adapting a 80s pop song, a British one, into the familiar symphonic metal aesthetics of what SIRENIA has employed routinely. Seamless. Wonderful as always with them. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.